They actually did it, people. We got CM Punk and Kevin Owens segment for the first time ever. An absolute dream match in the making right here. So y'all know my feelings about SmackDown, especially ever since it turned 3 hours long. I don't like the show. A lot of times it feels like it's very filler driven. And while I didn't necessarily care that much about the matches we got on the show, I love the fact that WWE, especially with this right here, made this year's WrestleMania feel like it's an open book. We don't know what's gonna happen. It makes Royal Rumble a lot more exciting. Like seriously, you're watching the WWE and it's like, this could be a WrestleMania match, and this could be a WrestleMania match, and that could be a WrestleMania match. This one right here is definitely on my bingo card. I don't actually have a bingo card. Who am I kidding? I'm a fraud. So let's talk about SmackDown. But I want to start by talking about the sponsor of today's video, Wrestling GM, the best wrestling simulation game out there, where you can fantasy book any real-life situation or match within the game. For example, we all love Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, so in Wrestling GM, you can actually recreate that. Or you can pick a star and make sure he becomes the next Stone Cold Steve Austin of your universe. You see, in Wrestling GM, you can create your own universe. You can create your own company, wrestlers, championships, and even in-depth characters like managers and commentators. One of the best things about Wrestling GM is that you can upload custom photos and avatars to recreate real-life superstars. And you can even give them custom backstories. So pretty much you can have real wrestlers in Wrestling GM. And as you guys know, being a GM is all about competition. So in Wrestling GM, you compete against AI companies in a viewership war to see who puts on the best show for the fans. People, Wrestling GM is available on the App Store and the Google Play Store, so make sure to download the game right now by using the link in the description below. The show actually kicked off with a Kevin Owens interview. He was given a chance to explain himself, but he has nothing to explain anymore. He's angry that everybody just assumes that Cody is still going to be a champion. Everybody's talking about winning the Royal Rumble and facing Cody. Well, Cody is not gonna be the champion, it's going to be me. CM Punk interrupts. This is where it gets juicy. CM Punk says, you know what? I would like to apologize. I didn't consider you, but yes, you could win against Cody, and I will win the Royal Rumble match, so it's a possible match. Kevin Owens versus CM Punk at WrestleMania. But of course, things got heated. Relatively fast, I would say. Kevin Owens says, the idea of you never main eventing WrestleMania and me main eventing it twice? Man, I hope you are not going to win the Royal Rumble match. I'm a main eventer of WrestleMania and you're not. And CM Punk goes on, I'm also not a lot of things. I'm not a backstabber. You're so unconfident in your ability to beat Cody that you're asking Sammy for help. One thing has to happen tonight. CM Punk will beat your ass. But of course, Kevin Owens leaves the ring with a beautiful Winged Eagle Championship. But man, this is an absolute dream match. You know, people, two of the greatest promos in the WWE, two superstars who always break the fourth wall. I mean, people may not realize, maybe you never thought about that, but Kevin Owens, like I've said many times actually, Kevin Owens is like an outsider, like he's watching the product with us. It feels like Kevin Owens is smarter than any other wrestler. You know, when wrestlers pretend that they don't watch the product and they never saw somebody backstabbing, you know, their partner or whatever, when the audience knows that. Well, the audience knows that, and Kevin Owens knows it too. This was just a little taste, people. A little taste, because they don't really have that much history, but this could be another great storyline. And with CM Punk bringing out the best out of any opponent, it would be absolutely amazing. Yes, The Miz is on SmackDown. He keeps talking shit about Andrade and says, I would whoop his ass if he was in the room. Of course he's in the room. Is it me or this kind of segment happens in the WWE like every other week right now? Eventually, we did get The Miz versus Andrade, and The Miz was, you know, wrestling his ass in this match, doing hurricanranas and shit. I actually like that. I appreciate The Miz being on SmackDown. Brings a lot of nostalgia to ya boy, but of course he lost the match relatively quickly. Obviously not a big fan of that, but I love The Miz being on SmackDown. Hopefully a change of scenery is going to make him relevant again. I know The Miz is not necessarily a fan favorite, but when he's really locked in, he's one of the GOATs. We also got Jey Uso versus Carmelo Hayes. Pretty decent match right here. Again, I didn't really care that much about wrestling, you know, it's all about the Royal Rumble. Some of these matches are just here, you know, Royal Rumble competitors facing off. It's really not that big of a deal. But Carmelo Hayes lost again. I'm not the one to overreact most of the time, you know, but at this point I'm like, just give him opponents he can beat. We also got the Women's United States Championship match, Michin versus the champion Chelsea Green. Just like I've said, people, some of these matches that could be on pay-per-views are going to happen on SmackDown, especially since it's the go-home show. But honestly though, I expected more of this type of stuff. Like only one championship is being defended on the pay-per-view. AEW, give us more title matches on SmackDown. What's the big deal? Now we got a disqualification, you know, she saved the championship, you get the deal. What I got from the Charlotte Flair video package is that she's going all in with the character, and maybe that's good, maybe a little change. She's basically going to be Ric Flair. And again, it's such a crazy coincidence, man. Charlotte Flair reminds me of Ric Flair. She has the same last name. It's crazy. Damian Priest says he's going to win the Royal Rumble match. Everybody keeps saying that, but only one man can win. So who is it gonna be? He got interrupted by Jacob Fatu. We have a lot of similarities. We both came from the street, but I'm a go-getter now. All gas. Been there. Been there. But basically the whole point of the promo is this is Jacob's town, you know, SmackDown. We got a fight and LA Knight came out with the save, and that was our main event being set up, a tag team match. Which on paper I wasn't really excited about, but the match itself was fire. 8-man tag team match. Can Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garza get along in this one? Of course they can't. MCMG were left in this match alone, but still managed to pick up the W, which is kinda crazy. And there's a lot of drama in the tag team division. People, since they won the match on SmackDown, I think DIY are retaining those championships. We also got Naomi versus Liv Morgan. Again, one of these matches where it's like, who really gives a shit, really? If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I know a lot of people always complain, a 3-hour-long episode and only 40 minutes of wrestling! Who gives a shit, especially in this kind of show? You know, especially in this kind of show, I want more promo work. I want you to get me excited about the Royal Rumble itself, you know, to hype me up. And these kind of, you know, almost random-ass matches don't really add anything to me. Naomi won the match, but they got attacked after it. Is Damian Priest going to join Legado del Fantasma? I don't think so. Our truth was kind of funny though. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. I talked to Adam Pearce, he has hair now, and Damian just gave up on it. Never change. LA Knight and Damian Priest may have some differences, but they're going to work together until the Royal Rumble. Our truth says, welcome to Raw. We should be a team. Thus he and Damian just told LA Knight to go along with it. We see Tiffany Stratton looking like an absolute star. She says it doesn't even matter who's going to win the Royal Rumble match. We see Candice LeRae. How could you do this to Nia Jax? How could you? I'm going to win the Royal Rumble match and I'm gonna take that championship. You get the idea. Nia Jax interrupts, accidentally attacks Candice LeRae, and Nia stands tall. I, for one, agree with Candice LeRae. How could you do this to Nia Jax? How could you? It makes me furious that somebody would hurt Nia Jax in any shape or form. But I'm willing to give you a second chance, and a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one. And of course the main event was the Bloodline versus LA Knight and Damian Priest. Now, on paper, again, I didn't really care about this match, but this actually went pretty hard. You know, I kinda like this friendship between Damian Priest and LA Knight. A random ass match on SmackDown received this is awesome chance. Again, my biggest problem being, this is a go-home show, people. Can we get a segment where we get a bunch of guys, you know, this goofy ass shit where everybody's just fighting in the ring, trying to eliminate each other even though it doesn't matter? Some hype, just a big ass brawl. Can we get that shit? Like this was great, this was awesome, this was a great match. Not much to do with the Royal Rumble though. Well, the babyface team won, but of course in the end Jacob Fatu stands tall. You know, one of these typical wrestling things where nobody really comes out on top. Yeah, I won the match, but I got my ass handed to me. So that was your SmackDown, people. Again, not the worst show. I really enjoyed the CM Punk and Kevin Owens segment. But to me, pro wrestling with barely any substance to it, barely any story progression, to me, it doesn't matter that much, you know? Thank you for watching, though. The Great One, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.